Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. Bout get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix, so get ready, cause we bout to get it poppin'. And we ain't stopping. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues.
Oh, that's dope. Who is that?
Dude, we'll explain that. I'm your host, Nick Scopes. Welcome to the Mangina Dialogues.
Gregolicious.
Our guest today is Mike Finoia. What's up, dog?
Hey, dog.
How are you? What'd you think of that song, dude?
I mean, life-changing. I think 2.0 just started. Who is that?
Greg, explain.
I mean, it's nobody. It's some dudes I found on Fiverr who produce puppet videos.
Puppet videos.
Yeah, there's a video that goes along with that. Like
real?
a full-on minute and 7-second video of puppets.
Puppets.
Rapping.
Yeah.
Dude, puppets are great.
Puppets are amazing. I love puppets.
Right?
We'll have to show you that
It's,
off.
like, it's just a puppet. You guys as puppets podcasting?
No, not even.
Pupcast? What would you call it when a puppet podcast? A pupcast?
Podcast in a pub?
Feltcast.
Fuck, I'm going to have to find the puppet video now.
This is great.
It's
We're
gonna
just
take you
in a
fucking 3 years.
we're in a strange room in a train station. Think about what this room was 100 years ago, 200 years ago.
Brothel?
Weird shit went down in here.
George Washington stayed here.
In this,
No, he didn't.
in this room?
Shut up.
Would have.
Where are you going, open mic?
Jesse's here.
Oh, that's it.
This is what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Gangster puppets. Dude, I wish I could just live with puppets. You know how you can go on vacation to like Italy and whatever? I want to go on vacation to Puppet Land. Just go hang with puppets for like a week.
You know what?
You go
That
to fucking
exists.
Sesame Place.
It's actually in like outside the Everglades in Florida.
What are you talking about?
Puppet Land?
Yeah.
In Everglades?
No.
Will they
How
get
do you
eaten
know
by
that?
alligators?
How do you know that? A.
Because I'm making it up. That's how.
Everglades.
Dude, you sounded pretty serious. I don't
Imagine
know.
a puppet like running from an alligator. Like, oh no.
Kermit's like, oh, God.
I wish my handler was here.
But no, in Florida, like in Miami, they have all those fucking weird places outside of like Fort Lauderdale, like the Lion Country Safari and the Monkey Jungle and all that shit.
Yes,
You've
they do.
You never been down there? You never see that?
You know what else though? Up in Vermont, they used to have this festival called the Bread and Puppet Festival, and it started in the East Village, and then they moved up to Vermont, and it was like this take on German something or other, where they would like everyone would get together and have like, you know, when the beer was fresh and the bread was hot, they would come out with their puppets and they would have this like big festival, and these weird arty people took it, started doing it in the East Village, moved up to Vermont with it, and then those people are the ones that influenced the band Phish when they were building all their festivals, was to make it like a
Puppet Fest.
puppet fest. Bread and Puppet was crazy.
So you want to hear a funny puppet story?
I mean, is any story not a funny puppet story?
I have a very
If you
serious,
find me a
dramatic,
serious puppet
very
I mean,
serious, dramatic puppet story.
I think the one puppet story I don't want to hear is the serious puppet story. If you ruin puppets for me, I'll jump on the tracks.
No, here's the
It's all I have left in life is puppets. Humans let me down. Animals are on their way out.
It's just a puppet world
Just
we're living
puppets.
in. So you're
And it's a fun word.
You a wrestling fan?
Puppet wrestling?
Just wrestling.
I mean, now, no.
Ever?
Once I discovered vagina, I kind of gave up on
That's what most people say.
men in makeup.
Most people say.
No, you know what? When the first Ultimate Warrior died, when Junkyard Dog left, I left with him.
Oh, shit, that's
That,
a long
that was
time
fun. I liked it when I was a kid. But then, no. Cigarettes and boobs.
So you know who Kurt Angle is?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So I used to work with Kurt for a while, and when he was in TNA Wrestling like 10 years ago, we took him to a meeting with a bunch of corporate people. He was pitching himself for a brand, right?
Uh-huh.
And we said, Kurt, these guys are obsessed with puppets.
What?
So you need to go into this meeting and do the initial opening using only finger puppets. So you have to talk with finger puppets.
How do you have such a he's like got like he's got it cornered. He's got the puppet world cornered.
Yeah, you know what?
You somehow
this is
know
my
all the
first
puppet
time
kingpins.
hearing this. Like I saw the video and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Can you get me a couple puppets? Just hang with some off the clock puppets.
I got a puppet guy.
You fucking do?
Who doesn't have a puppet guy?
Can you make him my puppet guy? Sure, fuck it. I need a puppet guy.
He definitely needs some
Everyone
business.
needs a lawyer, a mechanic, and a puppet guy.
Funny, I tell my wife, I'm like, listen, if I ever die in a plane crash or some kind of crazy auto accident, you got to call 3 people: American Express, Automobile Club of America, and my puppet guy. They will know what to do. They will know what to do.
The puppet guy has a couple of secret puppets that just need to be destroyed. If he dies, those puppets get burned.
Like sex
It's like the
dolls.
letter that shows up in the mail. Like
Puppets. The thing that's cool about a puppet is that like they seem so like eager to be like there with you. Do you know what I mean? Like
They don't mind if you put your hand in
There's
them.
certain like dolls and whatever that like they don't give a shit. But like you ever see that picture of, like Kermit, like when he's like touching the picture of Jim Henson?
Yeah.
And he's like, that I cry every time I see that thing. So it's like, what is that puppet? How does he have emotion? There's no heart. When I was fisting that puppet, I didn't feel a heart.
If you had a fist up your butt, you'd have a lot of emotions.
Which makes me believe that souls and spirits and stuff don't have anything to do with your organs. Because I think a puppet, the whole inside is just spirit. You know what I mean?
We're really going down a rabbit hole.
How do you
here.
feel about ventriloquism?
Down a puppet hole.
Really, it's up a puppet hole.
Up a puppet hole. I think we got the name of the episode.
Yeah. Oh no, I liked cigarettes and boobs. What you said before.
Yeah, that's the name of my first album.
Yeah.
So your puppet guy, you were Kurt Angle and the puppet guy.
Also, we told Kurt that you have to go in and
This is
do this
wild.
meeting with your finger puppets. And he
Like
was
the little aliens?
Yeah,
like
like
the-
on your fingers.
Love
finger
those.
puppets.
Love
So we
those.
got him 5 finger puppets. And he's like, I can't go into this meeting and do this whole fucking thing on finger puppets. It was like GNC. And he's like, we're like, dude, you have to do this in finger puppets. So
This
he's
is
like-
amazing.
So he's like, fuck, I got to go in and do this on finger puppets. So we had him the whole time rehearse this entire thing with the finger puppets, goes into the meeting, right? And he's about to start with the finger puppets. And we're like, no finger puppets.
Really? Wow. I love this.
It was awesome.
I love how much puppets are a part of your
Part of your lie. I had no idea.
You should see my
love
basement.
puppets.
You almost had Kurt Angle do that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Was he like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Isn't there like a puppet theater in Brantford?
I don't know.
Dude, I have no idea. This is really we're on a tangent
You know
here.
what? I think when I go home, I'm gonna watch some Muppet, like the
Muppet?
Muppet Show.
Muppet
the
porn?
Muppet Show's great.
Muppet Show is great.
Muppet
the
Show.
original Muppet Show.
So good. Steve Martin. He was
Yeah.
my favorite from the start. My first ever favorite person was Steve Martin.
Really?
Love him. He's so.
Was that like your first like favorite comedian or favorite person?
He's
ever?
like a human puppet.
Yeah,
He's
he
just
is.
always happy.
Yeah, he
No,
is.
I think he was like somebody that I liked how I always watched the people that I was around, the adults. I was always around adults. And I always watched what they laughed at. And I tried to just like understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
when the words didn't make sense, the rhythm and the cadence, I was like, oh, okay, like, buh, 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 buh. And I'm like, oh, Seinfeld's funny.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get the words, but it was just like,
That was
my
a good
mom was
Seinfeld.
like,
that was a good Seinfeld or Don Rickles. Don Rickles is more like. "Ah."
I just remember there being like that, you know. But then you see like Steve Martin hanging out with Muppets,
Yeah.
and it's like yeah,
Steve
that
Martin
guy-
was the first R-rated movie I ever saw. The Jerk.
the jerk. Oh no shit! Wow, first R-rated movie.
Like as a child.
How old were you?
10. I don't know, 11.
And that's
I
what
don't
you
know.
saw?
Jaws R-rated?
No. I
No
don't think so.
shot.
No,
There's
definitely
no
not.
shot.
No.
Were there
No.
boobs in that
But
though?
wasn't Jaws
don't
was
think
like
Jaws
put all the
was R.
gore and blood back in the
Yeah,
70s.
but not like I don't know.
I'm just saying. I wonder if Jaws was an R-rated movie because I know
That's
it
a
was.
great. I'm gonna look it up. Keep
I know
talking.
it was rated as like one of the world's. Whenever somebody calls that a horror movie, I'm like
Jaws?
What? Oh, dude, people say that's one of the scariest movies.
idiots.
If
Yeah.
you
No.
look up,
It's not a
the list,
scariest movie.
Bye, Jesse.
Bye, Jesse. Love you. Send me my tape.
it's not going to be the same without you. When you look at the list of like the scariest movies by voted by whoever, it's always like Psycho, Clockwork Orange, fucking The Shining,
And Jaws.
And Jaws is always like either number 1 or number 2 on that list. Sometimes, and I think like, what the fuck is so scary about? I don't know. I never looked at it like that.
I grew up in New Jersey, right? So northern Jersey, like right outside the city. So a lot of our friends had houses down the Jersey Shore for the summers, right?
Yeah.
None of them let their kids see the movie Jaws.
I
None
can
of
see
them.
that.
Oh, fucking dude, my uncle ruined my life. He let me watch Child's Play on my 7th birthday. He's like, yeah, we'll watch it. Watch Chucky. I was fucked for a week, dude.
Wow.
Anyway, this just in, Jaws was rated PG
Wow, really?
in the 70s. This is what it says.
That's awesome.
Despite all the bloody shark attacks, the movie is rated PG. It was it was initially rated R.
See,
What the fuck?
and then the
How'd it
puppets
go-
got a hold of it.
That's weird.
I think that one of the first movies that really like fucked me up for days was. You ever see the movie Cat's Eye?
No.
no. What's
So it was
that?
like these little vignettes, right? And Drew Barrymore was in it as a small child. I think it was Drew Barrymore. Maybe it wasn't.
called Cat's Eye?
Check it out, dude.
I'm
It's
gonna
called
look
Cat's
right
Eye. What
now.
it is, you should check it. You should totally watch it. It's these 3 little short movies in one. And the first one is like a guy, every time he smoked a cigarette, he was supposed to quit. And every time he smoked a cigarette, they would like shock his wife. And like she was like in a room and he had to like watch her in the room getting shocked and he just couldn't stop. And then at the end, I think it's Drew Barrymore. She's in bed.
Yeah,
and,
it is Drew Barrymore.
and there's this little like troll living in the wall and he tries to like steal her breath while she's sleeping. And her cat like saves her. Like the cat sees this troll come out of the wall, but he like would plug her nose and like inhale her exhales. It was fucked up. And I remember,
this is
like,
Stephen King, right?
Yeah, I was hanging out.
It's a Stephen King
hanging out with
movie.
my dad, and like he fell asleep, and I'm like watching this, and I'm like, you know, like when you're like a kid, and like you know you're not supposed to be watching something, and you keep like, yes, that's the thing. That's the fucking. It's like a little baby predator. I watched that when I was a kid, and I was like, I am not going to bed ever
again.
Cat's Eye. You
That
should
kind of
check it
happened
out.
with me with Carrie, the movie Carrie.
Yeah, dude.
That guy really freaks me out
Yep.
to this day.
I remember my dad took me. I don't know why this kept happening to me as a child.
Was it
My
with
father,
puppets?
he took me to see I Know What You Did Last Summer. I was like 11 when that shit came out, and he's like, "Let's go see it."
How old? Wow, you're young.
Yeah, he's a young little baby.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
31.
I was trying to play with you know,
Clitorises?
Yeah, in
Puppets?
That movie, Puppets. That movie came
Puppet
out.
puss?
How
Puppet hole.
old was that? How old were you when that movie came out? What year is that? 98.
I was definitely in like
99?
4th grade because I remember I was
That's
so
like
scared.
after Jennifer Love Hewitt was already out of Party of Five.
She was so hot though.
Gosh,
That's the thing too. That movie scared me, but also she was at that point in my life the hottest person I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Jennifer
she's
Love
amazing.
Hewitt in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I
I
remember.
mean, I was definitely going on dates to that movie.
I just remember I couldn't leave. I like would pee in the garbage can in my room because I didn't want to leave to go to the bathroom.
Dude, I peed in the garbage can in my room once too.
I didn't want to go down the hall. And I was like horrified. I was 4th grade.
I took a whole bunch of tissues. My mom was like, if you leave your room one more time, swear to God, I never wanted to go to bed when I was a kid. And she was like, if you come out of that room one more time, you're grounded for the rest of your life. And I was like, come on. That's a long time. I could live to 90. I know how much I'm gonna miss. And I had like a big tin Mets trash can,
Right, I had one of those.
like a fucking like
huge round.
and it was like the most echoey like Tibetan bowl.
I had the Yankees one, but yeah, I had the
Well,
same
I'm a
fucking
Yankee
garbage
fan
can.
now because Daryl Strawberry fucked my life up. But anyway, I'll tell you that story later if you want. But I had to pee, and I took all the tissues out of the box and like lined the bottom of the trash can with it, and tried to like pee in spurts so I didn't like make noise. And then I still had to pee, so I just like started to go through my t-shirts and was like, well, I guess I don't want that one. And I like took it and I put it in the trash and I pissed all over.
How old are you?
It's like 28. 29. No, I would say
last week.
9 years old, 8 years old.
By the way,
And
this
then
movie.
she's like, what the fuck did you do? Why does it smell like this in here? And I'm like, you told me not to leave the room, so I peed in the trash can.
Ha, joke's on you.
Joke's on you.
What'd she say?
God damn it. She was just quietly walked out of the room.
Like the God, fucking
We
shit
never
got
spoke
me.
of it. We never spoke of it.
So how Daryl Strawberry ruin your life?
When my mother, again, great mom, she brought me to, he was my hero growing up before I met
Him and I have the same birthday.
before I met
by the
Don
way.
Mattingly. when I was young. I mean, everybody loved the Mets. How did you not like that team as a kid? You know what I mean? Like Dykstra and Backman and McDowell and Hojo and Mookie. Mookie's the best. And Darryl Strawberry was signing autographs at like some hotel.
Yeah.
And she brought me 8 months pregnant. She brought me to go meet him and get an autograph. And we waited in line for forever. And I just saw him getting like bigger and bigger and bigger as the line got, you know. And my mom was like, "Can my son take a picture with you?" And he goes, "Is this bitch crazy?" Like to his like whoever. And she was like, "I have waited 5 hours." Like she was like doing that like cry,
Right.
like whisper cry through like her pregnant, you know, teeth.
Oh my God.
And he was like, "Whoa, all right, chill, whatever." And like it's like I run over on the other side of the wall and like took a picture, other side of the table, me and him. And my mother's like, "He's not a nice man. He is not a nice man." And I was just like, from that point on. And then she like enrolled me in this contest called Junior Met. The Mets used to have this thing where you sent a picture of your kid dressed in Mets gear, and the winner was crowned Junior Met, and you got 2 tickets to the game where they would show your picture on the screen, and you'd win a Fuji camera because that was the
sponsor.
sponsor. And I won.
Get the fuck out.
I won, and you know what they did? They sent me a camera that was in like 80 pieces, shattered, just shattered. Like I think they put like a loose camera in a box and just mailed it. And the tickets came like 3 weeks after the game was supposed to be. And my uncle, who called to pretend to be my dad, and was like, "What the fuck? Like you ruined my kid's life. He loves your team." And they're like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do?" So the next summer,
Jesus.
I went to Yankee Stadium. And Mattingly, like, we went down and, like, we were getting him to sign balls and whatever, and he was, like, giving everybody little head rubs and stuff. And I was like,
He was the best. Dude.
Mattingly's the man. So I jumped ship.
It's funny, like that similar thing happened to me with the Giants, the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
Growing up, my dad was a sports agent, and half of his entire roster were Giants. So we used to go down to training camp every summer, and he would hang out with his players, and I would just tool around with
What
a
a
little
cool,
kid.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we went to lunch with one of the guys he represented who was a starting offensive lineman. So big dude. We're sitting in a bar, right, having lunch, and Phil Simms walks in.
How old are you?
I was 8 or 9 years old, and Phil Simms walks in, rookie, right, alone.
Yep.
So the guy, Ron, who is his client, says, "Hey, Greg, that's Phil Simms. He's the new quarterback. Go over and say hello and get his autograph." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Get up, roll over there. I'm like, "Hi, Phil, I'm Greg. Can I have your autograph?" He looks me dead in the face and goes, "You're too young to be in a bar."
What?
And then turns back around to his food at the bar. And I walk away and I go
Fucking
back to my
loser.
table and I'm like, and they're like, "Hey, you get his autograph?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." And they asked me what happened. I told them. So Ron, who's like 6'6", gets up.
He's like, "Hey,
out of his chair,
motherfucker."
walks over to Phil Simms. He's the starting offensive lineman. Walks over to him and goes, "Better get your fucking ass over there and give that kid an autograph." Right. So he did.
Wow.
I never liked Phil Simms to this day.
Why would you?
Never.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
I was talking to, I told Judd Apatow about that whole experience I had with Darryl Strawberry because he directed the Doc and Darryl 30 for 30. And I found out he directed it after it had come out. And I was like, "God damn it, I wish I knew you were doing," because I would have loved to have showed up on set one day and be like, "Hey, motherfucker," and just showed him the picture. And he totally, he wrote like Don Stanley. Like, he didn't even write Darryl Strawberry on the autograph. He gave me like a D sludge. Or
That's
whatever.
terrible.
Yeah, it bothered me.
For a while, I've been in sports and entertainment marketing my whole life. So for a while, I was representing Dwight Gooden for some stuff. He was trying to put together a summer camp, right? So we were working with Doc to put together this summer camp. So I was hanging around with him for a while, like a lot. So I took him to a bunch of events and boxing and shit. Nicest fucking guy you ever met in your life.
Really?
Took a picture with every single person that came up to him to take a picture, said hello, couldn't have been more cordial, certainly didn't need to be sat on the aisle, right? So obviously,
Sure.
and everyone recognized, in New York, I mean,
Of course.
whatever. So we're working with him. I'm about to sign a deal, put a baseball camp together for him, the Doc Gooden summer baseball camp, right? I get a call from his son, also named Dwight. He's like, "Hey, just letting you know I have to go to LA tomorrow to do a shoot day with my dad." I'm like, "Oh, what are you guys shooting?" He's like, "Well, I got a weird call from Dr. Drew that tomorrow is family day and my dad is in celebrity rehab."
Oh, this is how you found out that this was happening?
Yeah. And I'm like,
shit.
oh. And
Celebrity
that's nice.
rehab.
I'm like, when did he go to celebrity rehab? He's like, I think last week. I'm like, well, there goes to baseball camp.
Yeah, really.
It's over.
Yeah, I guess he's not. He still struggles with the addiction,
So,
huh?
yeah.
Pretty
So, I mean,
heavily.
it sucked. A super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's a shame. You know what I mean? Like, and even, doing comedy and getting to, going for it and whatever that bullshit. You get to know people who, it's just amazing who you get to know. And I've gotten to know Artie Lang.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who, now he's 10 months sober, and he actually is this time. And it's pretty incredible to be around him. It's like a whole new person. And I interviewed him for my podcast earlier, and that day he goes, I'm 40 days sober. And I was like, congratulations, dude, that's fantastic. And the next morning I woke up and it's like Artie Lang tests positive for cocaine and morphine and whatever. And it's like, God damn it. And it's like, you're such a great dude and everybody's pulling for you and everyone wants you to succeed and everybody wants you to get clean. And he knows it. And he was just the most genuinely generous, kind person. And then he went away for a while. And this time he went away for a long time. And it's like, we're all very glad that he's back and he's funnier than ever. I mean, you listen to the Rogan with him on it or his new podcast.
That was a great podcast.
I haven't laughed that hard.
Yeah. You know, it's good when you're alone and laughing by yourself. That's when
he looks good. I mean, besides the whole nose thing, but
on that episode too, he talks about how the reason why he can't get the surgery is because he needs to be a year off of opiates before they give him any type of anesthesia, which makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's yeah.
But but just like you said, there's certain people that just have that, Doc Gooden is. I bet you all he wanted to do was have that baseball camp.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Just that fucking
for sure. And the thing is,
side.
everybody at the time, everybody knew he had gone through a ton of struggles.
Yeah.
Since he was a player, but every
he was
single
so young
person
when he started.
Yeah. And every single person that we ever contacted about doing it, couldn't have been fuck yeah, it's fucking Doc Gooden. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
It's funny too, and it's from the comedy thing with Artie, it's you see all these, sometimes people screw up and people get, in trouble for whatever, and Artie's been Artie through and through. You never got anything but Artie from Artie. And then everyone's just he's such a sweet guy, and you want him to be so, he's just unabashed, just says what he wants. And
I've met him a bunch of times at different things.
Very
around the
sweet
city.
guy.
Couldn't have been nicer.
Unbelievable.
Couldn't have been nicer.
We were standing one time outside the cellar. It was Dave Attell, myself, and Artie, and it was pretty late. And this guy walks by with no shoes on, and he goes, he's shivering, and he goes, "Can you guys help me out with $1 or something for food?" And Artie, in without hesitation, whips out $100, and he goes, "Do me a favor," and right 3 doors down from the cellar is Ben's Pizza, and he goes, "Go get me a large pizza, and we'll talk about it then, or whatever." And Artie gives him the money. The guy goes, and then Artie just takes off. So when the guy came back, he had a full pizza and then all the change.
Right.
And we were like, "Yeah," the guy came back with a pizza, and he's like, "Where'd he go? Where'd he go?" And me and Attell
took the pizza.
The show was letting out. The show was letting out, and me and Attell are like, $5. Take a picture with Artie Lang's pizza. It's just fucking the best thing. But the guy was he just went. There's a million stories about how Artie Lang and Attell too. Yeah. And they're just the generosity and all that is just. The guys who you can learn from on stage, as well as just how to be a good person. And whatever level of whatever you can use it for the benefit of other people,
right?
That's the shit.
Yeah,
I just heard. I was listening to Michelle Wolf on Rogan talking about Attell, and she was saying at the cellar there was one night where there was just this group of Hispanic women in the front, and they just weren't laughing, no comics, not one person, just mean mugging. And Attell gets on stage and he just goes, "Ladies, what happened? Did Selena die again?" Everyone started fucking dying.
He is,
but only he can pull that off. You know what I mean?
One time I was hosting there and the crowd sucked, and he goes, "Mike, can you open the door and let the energy fairy back in the room?" The shit he says is just one time, and when you're around him, and I've been lucky, he brought me out on the road with him a little bit, and I go tour with him and stuff. There's been 5 times on stage in the 10 years I've been doing this that that I've actually been able to like enjoy the moment. Like when I'm able to like, I have one of those Wonder Years moments where it's like everything's going slow motion and you hear Jim Croce in the back or whoever the fuck. And
the Wonder Years.
you know, at the end of this, or you know, just the fucking, you hear like some acoustic guitar. And you just pan the crowd and they're laughing at you and you're like, oh wow, this is actually amazing. And you look over and there's Attell in like the fucking like hanging out in the wings and you just see that wisp of cigarette smoke and he's just nodding his head and I'm like, but one of the first times ever hanging out with him, it's right outside the cellar, and in the summertime they pull a table out in the front and they put it right on the front door, and Dave rides up on a city bike with an iced coffee. And he puts the coffee on the table, and then he puts the city bike against the table, and the bike like fucking
I know
falls,
it's coming.
knocks the table over. The coffee falls on the city bike, and while it's all happening, Dave goes, "Oh no, a hipster 911." And it was just like, I mean, he didn't have time to even think about it. Knowing that guy is the greatest fucking thrill of my life.
I would love to meet that dude, man.
He's the greatest.
How did you get your start? Like, how did you get involved in this You said 10 years.
Stand-up comedy.
Yeah. So you were 30 when you started?
29-ish.
Like me. Good. So it's not too late, I guess.
I always kind of had this thing where it's like, is this it? Like, is this life? Like school and anything where you had to be there. I was just like, I never wanted to be there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was just like, can we go do something else? Like planning to go to concerts and, you know, mapping everything out and looking at I was the most disciplined person you'd find when it came to rallying the troops and getting everybody together to go, you know, drag a keg in the woods or whatever. Like I was the
first guy there.
CEO of that mission. But if you make me put on a suit and, you know, I had a million jobs from folding pizza boxes when I was like 12 years old to like, you know, tuning guitars and landscaping and all types of shit. And I teaching, sales, corporate sales was the thing that led into stand-up. I was doing sales. I hated my life. Moved out to Colorado after like a messy breakup. Broke my arm snowboarding. Came back home. Went on a date in New York with this chick, and it was the worst date ever. And we walked by Caroline's.
Love bad dates.
And I was like, let's go in here so I don't have to talk to you anymore. You know? And we went in there, and it was like there was Maj Jabrani was the comic, I remember. And there was a sign that said, like, sign up for a new talent night. And it just like went off in my head. I'm like, I didn't know that you could just sign up to do it. I thought like you had to be from like another planet. Something was different about comics, you know? And then I went up to someone, I went to the bathroom and I just like went over to a staff member and was like, what's all that about? And they're like, anybody could do it. And you sign up, and they had a course that you take. And I mean, they don't really teach you how to be funny. They teach you, this is how you take the microphone out. This is how you know, put the mic stand back here. This is how you know, go to this side of the stage. And this is a setup, and this is a punchline and whatever. And I went in so cocky, and this fucking awesome lady, Linda Smith, she goes, you're naturally like endearing. You're funny. You have some of those intangibles that are hard. You can't really teach. She goes, but don't waste my fucking time by coming in here without any material. She goes, go home and make a list of everything that's ever like that you've ever felt. You know, like things in your life that have actually affected you, and try to write jokes about those. And I was like, all right. And I went through an awful breakup. I had a whole bunch of like weird stuff with my family. And I just went and made a list. And then I wrote a couple jokes about my ex. And it's hacky.
Can you share
such
any?
Hacky garbage. I said that like my ex was so wealthy her pussy had a doorman. And like every time I wanted to, you know, get in there, like this guy would pop out and charge me admission, so I just started sneaking around back. A little sex joke.
Yeah.
And I went
Back
and
to
did that
puppets.
joke, and she was, you know. But what's funny is like we had this graduation show, and like 10 of us, 12 of us in the class. 15 of our friends all came, times 10, 12 people, 150, 180 people at Caroline's. It was the first time I ever got on stage, and it went well. And like, but I'm like, I got off stage. I'm like, watch out, world. I'm like, this is a piece of cake. And then I went and did that same 5 minutes at like an open mic at St. Mark's, like a couple days later. And like fucking people were like, this hack, this loser. Like I was getting crickets. And I'm like, okay, this is comedy, you know, but I had already gotten the bug. And I'm like, this is it. And I literally went home and figured out, like, how do I sever all ties with with life, with, like, responsibility, with anything that can hold me back from doing this. I needed to be completely, like, untethered and just go for it. And I did. And I just kind of, like, I can't believe it's crazy that it's 10 years. It's fucking insane to me.
What was the first, like, big break you got?
Oh, geez. I don't know. My big break. Big Jay Okerson is he's like my brother. And the Comedy Connection in Providence used to have me there when they would have, like, I think they considered me to be reliable.
Right.
As a feature. Mm-hmm. Very young. 2 years in or whatever, 2.5 years in, 3 years. And, like, if Sebastian Maniscalco was there, they brought me in. He brought me out with him on the road a little bit.
Yep.
So that was nice. Bobby Kelly, Dom Irera, like, got to know some of these dudes.
Wow.
And Big Jay was there, and Corey, the owner, was like, want to come down and work the weekend with Jay. And I was like, fuck yeah. And you want to know what's crazy? I was driving out west to start my new life in 2006 or 7 or whatever, and I got a Saturn Ion, and it came with Sirius XM, and I listened to the Raw Dog channel the whole way,
right.
And I'm like, and my breakup, like, it fucked me up, and I was like heading out, and I'm like listening to comedy, and I hear this guy Big Jay Okerson talking about, like, he like had his pants around his ankles, and he was, like, coming, and he fell and ended up coming all over his own face. And just the way he told the story, and I'm just like,
We've all been there.
He cheered me up, and it's someone I never met before.
We've all been there.
And then fast forward to, like, now I'm working with him at the perception is reality.
Yeah,
I'm like, this guy's and I go up, I do my shit, and he afterwards was like, you're a real funny dude. Like, you should come down to New York, like, come hang, do my podcast, whatever. And we kept in touch, and then I had him to Jokers Wild in New Haven, and I was like, before we do the show, let's go get pizza. And I sat down with him and just kind of, like, started shooting the shit a little bit about, like, you know, driving back and forth from Connecticut, and I don't really know what the next thing is, you know. And a day later, he called me and was like, I'm moving to the East Village, and I have a room available if you'd like to rent it. It's all yours. I'll take you on the road, like, come open for me. And I'll show you around the city and all that stuff. And, like, he recommended me at the Comedy Cellar and a couple other rooms. And I think that was, like, something that, you know, I just had to talk with him the other day about it when I realized it was 10 years. I didn't realize how long. Like, right. I thought it was longer. But I just thanked him. We're still, like, we're best buddies, you know. And
that's awesome.
That was something that was incredible to be able to, like, a comic that I respected liked me and was willing to, like, take me out and show me the ropes. And I learned afterwards that, like, while I'm on stage, Jay is talking to, like, the managers, like, at these road clubs,
right?
And they're like, you should really take a look at him for headline, and, like, he's a funny dude. And then I would get off stage, and, like, they would come tell me that, and it was almost like, I wish you didn't tell me that. I have to go hang out with him now, and I don't want to be like, hey man, just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Try to kiss him.
But it was just something that was, like, I mean, I think first break, I guess, would probably be that, and then the Cellar was huge. Like, getting past there was a big deal. And Attell asking me to go out on the road with him, and also getting the gig working for the Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been life-changing.
Right.
And opening for those guys on the road, theaters, basketball arenas. I mean, I should not be in a basketball arena doing comedy, but thanks to them, you know, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah,
you know,
shit.
It's kind of this whole thing. I think if any young comic was like, what is it that, like, what, you know, I think what's so important is that you need to have someone that believes in you.
Right.
And you need to kind of, like, shut your fucking mouth and, like, let the ego dissolve as much as possible and just be like, yes. Like, say yes to opportunities and say yes to, you know, sometimes you got to eat shit, man.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I mean, I looked at calendar years, and been like, all right, well, one more year of opening up for Jay on the road, and maybe next year they'll have me back to headline. I'll go open for him this coming year. You know, we already have dates out. Right. I'm headlining rooms, and I'm doing other stuff with the Jokers or with Attell or with whoever. But also it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Jay's somebody who like, to have a big brother in comedy that's like, you're funnier than he told me one time in Austin, Texas, he goes, you're funnier than your jokes. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like,
Is that good or bad? What's happening?
I'd like to see what's next.
Yeah.
And I go, well, we got one more show this weekend. Do I have your, do you mind if I just throw caution to the wind? And he's like, you don't need my permission. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, these people paid for a show. I feel like they deserve a professional show.
They got sitters.
I'm not going to go open mic it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, don't fucking, But I went up and I did a whole bunch of stuff that I had no idea how to end. And I was up there and I'm looking at, 300, 400 people. I got to figure out the punchlines. And I'm like standing on a tightrope. And it was one of the biggest learning experiences ever. And then we talked afterwards and he was like, that was the most fun I've had watching you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that shit's to me is like what matters. You know what I mean? I get sentimental about weird shit, but I think it's just like whether it's the music I listen to or the people I like to hang with, it's like, it's just chasing these moments and they keep coming. And it's like, I'm just going to keep on fucking chasing it.
So how the fuck do you have the time to go to 235 just fish shows?
Oh man,
all of that.
You got to prioritize. I don't know. Like Gallagher, there's like Gallagher 1 and Gallagher 2. Like, I don't know, there's Finoia 2. No, it's, is this a bathroom in this store?
No, it's a closet. That's where Greg comes out of.
I don't know, dude. I love music and it's very inspiring, and I feel like I get like filled up. It's like I get my battery charged. I just dropped my wedding ring. When I go to live shows, I feel very I feel very like it just gets me more like creative.
Right.
I get a lot of writing done at shows.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like because I'm like the bad parts of my mind are distracted, so I'm able to just like focus and I'm writing in my notebook or whatever during fish concerts.
Is like the last, say, 3 weeks an average music consumption week for you? Because it seems like you've been at a live show every fucking night in the last couple of weeks.
This has been bananas. This year I kind of went heavy, and this past couple of dude, I went to Tool at Barclays, which was they are so good. I went to 4 Fish concerts? 5? Yeah, 4.
Did you go to the Trey show? The solo Trey show?
Two Trey shows.
Right.
I went to the O'Teal. I went to the Dead thing last night. Well, what I do is like, so I had a show in Hartford, Connecticut on Saturday.
Right.
It started at 7.
Where at?
Elbow Room or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went and did that.
West Hartford. I used to live in West Hartford.
So I went up and I did that. And then I like the minute I got off stage, I got in my car and I swung back down to Port Chester and caught the second set.
Right.
Oh,
that's what that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just get to go.
So that wasn't the Melvin Seals show?
Melvin was on the band. Yeah, they were doing Jerry Garcia band stuff at the Port Chester.
Yeah, okay.
They do this thing called Home for the Holidays.
Oh, all right.
I just feel at home among a sea of music freaks. And I have a project coming out in January that I did called Still Chasing, where I looked at why at 40 years old I'm still going to so many fucking Fish concerts.
Right.
And I look back on the history of my life following the band, and I did like a podcast series, kind of chronologically
ordered,
documenting the whole thing. And I interviewed people, and I used to carry around a little mini cassette recorder in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I went back and I got like a whole bunch of the old tapes and like added it in and stuff.
Yeah, I heard
you
talking about it on your podcast.
I'm really stoked to release it.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Wow. I wish I did that.
It's called Still Chasing.
I went on. The first Dead show I ever went to was in 1985.
85. Wow.
And then it didn't stop until 94. And then I don't think I didn't go to one show in 95. But I went to every fucking show I went to a few in 85, nothing in 86, I think 1 or 2 in 87, Dylan and the Dead shows.
Yeah.
And then 88 on, it was just fucking nonstop.
Well, that's the thing too, because like 88, 89, 90, like that era is when they actually started to, in my opinion, they started to sound really good again.
Yeah, there's no question that. I mean, I
love Fish, but I absolutely worship the Grateful Dead.
Right.
Like as much as I like Fish, I like the Dead 100,000 times more.
Yeah. So I totally am a Brent fanatic. Like that was that I went to so many of those shows. Like I was so lucky to see that and go on tour for a bunch of different tours.
Yeah.
It was the best. And I think it's why, I don't know if I told you this over text or whatever, but I've only seen Phish one time my entire life. 1988 in Boston. And I have a cassette tape of it somewhere. I was trying to find it to bring it and give it to you because I have no way to listen to it. I'm like,
I don't have tape decks
I don't
anymore,
either.
man.
You don't have
But
it either?
No.
It was 1988
Yeah.
Phish show at Molly's in Boston.
That's when I was born.
Jesus.
And I was such a dead fanatic that, and
You're like this stupid bar band.
I just couldn't do
I
it
get it,
for
dude,
years
I get it.
until like 6 months ago. And then something just all of a sudden clicked. I'm like, I'm going to start listening to the Phish channel on Sirius. And I haven't turned it off. And I'm so fucking pissed at myself.
Dude, you want to know what's kind of weird? Don't be pissed at yourself, though, because they're in a good... They're going to be playing a lot. We were joking around about how pretty soon Phish is going to do like 30 nights at the Beacon Theater. Like they're just going to start doing like those Allman Brothers like residencies because, I mean, they're just bigger than... They sound somehow better than ever. They just did, a 10-night tour, didn't repeat one song.
Yeah.
They're on fire.
Wow.
They ripped out a whole bunch of like old covers that they used to,
Yeah.
It's good. And this year I think I went to, I'm going to the 4 New Year's shows at the Garden. I think after that, I think this year I'm at like 22 or 24 Phish shows in 2019.
That's insane.
And it's just, I mean, I don't know.
So there's this rumor about Phish from right around then, like late 80s, that my cousin went to UVM. Two of my cousins went to UVM. One's the same age as Trey. So they were at school together in Burlington. And my cousin's family owned this compound in a town called Casiuna Lake, New York, right? And there's this ongoing rumor for like literally the last 30 years that Phish played at my cousin's house.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
And well, my cousins say they did, but I have not found one person outside of just my cousins and then that other circle of their cousins that can corroborate that Phish actually played a show at my aunt's house in Casiuna, New York. No recording anywhere. I have looked high and fucking low. So,
well, if I ever get the chance to finally meet these dorks, I will ask them and let you know.
It's my mission to go to figure out if that actually happened.
I totally don't want to. We can I'm sorry. I'm looking right now. I'm going to piss my pants. Is there anywhere around here that I can go take a
there's
shit?
a bathroom.
Would it be okay if I went and did that and then we can catch back up?
No, we're going to watch you piss your pants. Yeah.
Where is it?
So
Go right outside the door.
This is going great. I'll keep going.
Take your headphones off. And then go out the door, make a left, and then make your next left into the train actual station.
So Mike's peeing.
Me and Nick are going to awkwardly stare at each other. It's a staring contest.
Dude, don't fucking look at me, dude. I hate you.
Can I see your ass again?
No.
Just one more time.
Oh, God. Listen. Did you just fart?
No, I didn't fart.
I thought I just heard. That wasn't even to be funny. I really thought you farted.
We should talk about Big J.
Dude, this is really cool. I know, like, in his episode, it's just dope. It's cool that you got all these opportunities.
If we had sponsors, this is where we'd be like, and we are sponsored by Kleenex Tissue, the #1 tissue brand for people over 40.
Or lonely guys in their 20s and 30s.
Or teenage boys.
Yeah, or teenage boys.
We are sponsored by Jergens.
Don't use the ones with lotion.
The first lotion for the first lotion.
We're sponsored by Greg's Panties.
Tight, but cute.
You're an idiot. Wait, is that door open?
Nope,
No.
it's locked.
All right, then keep talking. It's like,
I wonder if I can sing a song. Name a song, I'll sing it. Oops, I did it again. You know what I wish they made? Diet Coke Cane. Yeah, it was awesome. We can press pause.
no, fuck that. That's dumb.
Did you find it?
He's here. He's back.
We were just running through our sponsors.
Yeah. Let me go close that door. Keep going, though.
It's closed.
You know what's funny? I was just peeing, and I was thinking of another funny Attell story. That
That's where I think of mine.
yeah, well, it's just hilarious. Okerson told me this story that like when Dave was showing Jay his new car, he had a sunroof, and he goes, "Hey Jay, check it out," and opens the sunroof, and he goes, "That's so Jesus can hear my rhymes." Amazing. See Dave Attell just bumping fucking hip hop.
It's like his voice and his delivery is what kills me too. Like he's just sitting on a stool, horrible posture.
Did you watch Crashing on HBO?
I don't really watch a lot of TV.
Yeah,
I have to watch TV for my job.
Right.
The same show over and over.
Yeah, my kids too. They could be you.
They love it.
Oh my God.
How'd you get involved with them? How'd that come to be? Impractical Jokers.
I got to know Sal first because he, prior to doing the Impractical Jokers, Sal owned a bar on Staten Island, and they used to have comedy shows there, and he got to be friends with a lot of comics. And I met him hanging out at the stand, and I think he was thinking about getting into doing stand-up.
Right.
And we literally just sitting around, like, you know, I was there with a couple comics, and Sal came in and was just bullshitting with everybody, and I was an enormous fan of the show. You know what I mean? Like, I was a huge fan of the Jokers before getting to meet them or know them or anything.
Right.
And he asked, like, it just ended up coming to be that, like, he asked if I wanted to open up for them on the road. They cycle a couple of different openers, and they were looking to bring somebody else on board, and they asked me to open up for them. And the first place that I got to do it was Oakdale in Wallingford, whatever it is now, the Toyota website.net amphitheater. But it was the first place that I ever got to open for them, and it was like my family was there, and it was hilarious. Like, there's, what's that hold, 4,000 people or something maybe?
Yeah.
And I walk out, and the first head I see is my dad. And he's just like, but then I told them, I'm like, because I love writing, and you have to have a million irons in the fire in this gig, unless you're like, the next Pete Davidson or whatever, like, and people are giving you scripts.
Yep.
Like, you need to work until someone notices you, So I told them, I'm like, if there's ever any opportunity to do to work on the show, I know the show inside and out, and if there's anything I could do to help. And they were like, in fact, we're going to be looking for another comedy producer soon, which that is what we would call a writer.
Yeah.
But essentially what that means is, like, let's say, I don't know, Archie Moores wanted to host an episode. As comedy producers, what we would do is we'd go to Archie Moore's or work with them and figure out, like, what's the funniest vehicle for a challenge? Are the guys customers? Are the guys delivering a keg? Are the guys custodians? Are the guys bartenders? Whatever. And then we would just try to brainstorm challenges.
Right.
And then we would pitch those to them.
That's awesome.
And if they like it, then they take the ball and run with it. And we try to help out however we can. And also, we do a lot with punishments,
Right?
Which is like,
Yeah, I
pretty
love that.
amazing.
I
Like,
love that.
And then I did that for a season and a half, and there was a need for someone to do Inside Jokes, which is the show where it's like pop-up video for the Jokers. And I ended up getting that gig. I kind of like volunteered for it because I loved it, and it gives me the freedom to do stand-up too. So, like, I could work from pretty much, I could be a little bit more versatile.
Right.
And I know the show. I know the guys. I mean, I've been touring with them now for 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 years. And it's just unbelievable. It really is just such a blessing to be a part of that family. Because you know what, man? Like, looking at it from a Grateful Dead or a Phish fan perspective, their fans are Deadheads for them.
Are they?
They're diehards, bro. Like, they
what I've heard.
have like their signatures tattooed on their
I've seen
thighs,
some of that
and
shit. It's nuts.
It's bonkers. We do the Jokers, the cruise,
Right.
and I mean, it's almost kind of frightening at times.
So what is their live
love
show?
them.
What is their live show like? Like, what are they when they do the arena shows?
Yeah.
What are they, just stand-up shows? What are they doing, skits? Like, what's
What the guys
the show?
have done is they've utilized these kind of live podcast shows,
Right.
where they go in. Again, maybe I just equate it to the music I like, but they go in and they start with nothing, and they tell stories, and they see what stories have like, you know, a little bit of juice in them.
Right.
And that's the stuff that they focus on for the live show, and they begin to like craft and develop an hour or, you know, 75 minutes of deleted scenes, funny home videos, because when these guys are on the bus together, it's like we're fucking with each other all the time,
right.
you know? And then stories and stuff.
Right.
So it's not stand up, but it's not just like,
show.
hey, here's something we didn't show you from the last episode
Right,
or whatever,
right.
you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a nice healthy blend of everything.
Are they doing shit on the fly?
They used to a lot more than they do now. Like the first
Right.
couple hours, they would like grab someone's phone out of the front and
Right.
just randomly select a number and
Call it.
text like the test came back positive, but they have no idea who it could be. It could be their boss, it could be their accountant, it could be their mother. So that shit was kind of wild. But I think the thing is that like what I'm blown away by is that like these guys somehow still aren't. They're either like hyper recognized or that people don't know who they are.
Right.
And I'm blown away that people still don't know who they are.
Yeah,
There's
that's
billboards in Times Square now because of like the game show they did.
yeah, right.
Misery Index
Yeah.
that just came out, and it's like, why are we putting a billboard in that? I mean, we filmed there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's what I don't understand. Like at the mall that you guys do it in Nyack, or at least a lot,
Palisades,
right? Palisades
yeah,
Center.
yeah.
So like I go to that mall all the time with my kids, and my mom lives out that way. That's kind of where I grew up, in that vicinity, and I'm like, how the flying fuck did these people who walk this mall not know who these guys are? I imagine they must bump into people who do, and then it ruins the gag, and then they have to do it again.
So I'll tell you two things about that. Number one, they're very, very pure in the fact that like if you were in the mall and you recognized them, right, and they come up to you and they try to run a gag on you and you play along, and then a PA comes over and goes, hey, by the way, you were just on a TV show, Impractical Jokers, sign here, a release. And you go, I knew all along it was them. We don't use that.
Yeah,
throw it out.
Right.
And it sucks because it's like there's such good stuff that the minute, I understand why they don't, because the minute you cheat,
It's not a gag anymore.
then it's like, well, you know, you got away with it once. But the other thing too is like when we are in the mall, I remember one day we used to take turns going on set, and there was one day where we were playing two games. We recorded. The guys were custodians,
Right.
And they had like a walkie-talkie, and they had to They were told the answer they had to say, and then the guys would say something, and they had to, you know. And if you refuse, you lose. And I was there for that. And then the next game we played after lunch was Operation Panty Drop, which was we had like panties with
On a fish hook.
No, it was another version of it. It was panties with like a parachute, and you had to like
Yeah, I saw it.
from
Yeah,
the top.
I get it.
And dude, I'm watching this, and I'm just like, my life is unreal. And I'm watching this happen. Now, what happened was, here's the fucked up part, dude. Now, in all honesty, now you look, I'm not a big guy, but I'm not a tiny guy.
Right.
And one dickhead kid
course.
sees that it's the Jokers, tweets out and texts, you know, the Jokers are in the mall, and everybody shows up, mothers, dickhead older people with selfie sticks trying to film over, like, and we kind of have to like put on a bunch of different hats and be like security.
Yeah.
And, you know, while we're trying to film, I'm watching and I'm kind of like going, buddy, put your camera down. Like, you're going to like, and they're like, who are you? You don't have a, and I'm like, I work on the fucking show. I'm like, do you enjoy the show? Does your family enjoy the show? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you want to ruin the show? I'm like, because if you keep doing this shit, we're not going to be able to film anymore. I go, so you want your fucking 10-second video so you can be the hero at work tomorrow, or do you want to be able to? And he's like, relax, chief. And I'm like, you fucking call me chief.
Chief, ugh.
Chief guy and boss. Call me those two things. I'll throw you in front of the train.
So New York.
But I just don't.
That's the episode name.
Yeah.
I just don't like. It's just be cool. Just
Yeah.
you know, like, and most people have been.
Right.
I mean, a majority of people that we've run into and stuff have been like super cool. But yeah, you can't do. They used to be able to stand out in the middle of the park Well, one of them went 20 feet away,
Right.
and no one knew. Now they have like, tents and lean-tos and all this stuff they have to hide behind, and
Right.
trailers, and it's a big operation, and it takes a lot of people. And I think one of the fun parts about being on the show is that like it's definitely like a really tight-knit family. From the showrunner all the way to like the PAs, like everyone's busting balls, everyone loves each other. It's a really cool hang. It's never like I'm going to work.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I get to go to work.
I mean, it seems like it's got to be
That's awesome,
an
dude.
insane amount of fun. You're like joking around. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's
some
a
of the
bunch
shit
of fucking
and being on
jokes.
the road too is just like it's hilarious. It really is funny. And I've kind of like developed this kind of like pseudo security guard,
Right.
like alter ego. We'll be at dinner, and like Joe will kind of be like, whatever, and I'll be like, listen, are we done here? Like, if somebody's bothering them, I'm like, have you seen them? All right. Did you get your picture? Let's go. Come on. We've got a lot to do today. And it's just like, because I look like a fucking dick.
Yeah.
We got jokes to pull. Cause you done?
It's the baldness. You're bigger, dude.
Yeah, I hate it. I have cop head. Like you saw
I
that
have
joke.
cop head.
Like you saw that joke.
I'm gonna join you soon, dude. I'm gonna join you soon.
It's the end of a weird decade.
Yeah.
And it's the end of 10 years of doing all this stuff, and it's just, I feel like literally I didn't put it all together until just recently with my little science experiment I'm doing with my brain. And I just realized like it all culminated to like the end of this year is just like the end of a lot of like changes and a lot of unbelievable shit. And I really am surprised that I had the guts to say fuck it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I think that was the most rewarding in a way.
Of course.
No, this thing doesn't you could do it, and as long as you keep delivering and you keep saying, thanks, can I work more? This is the only time I've ever wanted to work more.
Right.
I really like work, and that's not me. You know what I mean? Like I have the ability to go tell jokes before and after the best comics on the planet.
Right.
And then I get to go afterwards, sit and bullshit and hang with the best people in the world. And I get to watch these people succeed. Jessica Kirson's special that just came out, she's one of the best comedians alive.
She's amazing.
And she's one of my closest friends. And it's like I stood right next to her at the cellar while we watched the special, and I'm like, you deserve this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But for her to get it, it's like, yeah, and it's just, I'm excited for everyone. And it's this thing of like kind of selflessness where maybe if we're all doing good,
Right.
we're all moving this thing ahead
Yeah.
a little bit. You know what I mean?
She's definitely had
Dan Soder's big special came out.
Yeah.
I just watched that last night.
It's amazing.
I really love
he's
I didn't watch it
good.
yet.
It's
Don't
a
ruin it
whole
for
other
me.
level.
I'm not gonna ruin it for you. He does such a good job of like certain things. I DM'd him immediately after. I was like, that was
I'm in LA a lot for my real work.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to hit the store as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And just sitting there watching just that roster of people, whatever night you go, just fucking murder it is insane.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I had a chance this summer to do that room for the first time.
Right.
And it was like, there's certain rooms that are like, wow, this
Yeah.
is pretty surreal.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of them. Backstage, they have that glass table that's a piano. Have you
Right. No.
It's like this. It's a piano-shaped table. Like
In the original,
mirror.
the main room, like the behind
Really?
backstage of the main room?
Yeah, out in the back. And I'm like, dude, the lines of coke that were done on
I
the
was
table.
just about to say.
I mean, really.
Kinnison and fucking Pryor, yeah.
Carlin, everybody. I mean, 70s.
like, yeah, let's do it.
But it's a real trip, dude. And it's like, I think that it's something that every now and then it's just kind of like mind blowing that I even know Dave Attell.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, that to me is just like, my grandfather's like the guy who got, like, he was like, come watch this show. He's like, this guy gets to go do comedy and then hang out at night with like garbage men and drunks and whatever. He's like, the guy's got the best job in the world. He goes, he's the funniest guy I've ever seen. And like, I saw my grandfather get super excited about Attell.
Yeah.
I have a very young grandfather, but he was like super cool.
I was
you know
gonna
what I mean?
say,
Like,
yeah.
But for him to get stoked up on that, and then like, I get to go, hey, Pop, look, check it out. And I show him a picture. Like, I just got to work with that guy, like we're buddies. And he's like, no shit. And it's just like life is so fucking crazy.
We just sold some people a pizza. together.
Artie Lang's Pizza.
So what's next for you, man? 2020. What's we looking forward to? How many fish shows? How many comedy shows?
Comedy. I'm working on I'm doing a lot of writing about like my past, and I'm trying to go at it a little bit different. Where I'm working on a book, and I'm working on material to correspond with it. So I'm gonna kind of try to go that route a little bit with material, more honest, more. Kind of have this thought lately where it's just like all borrowed time right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm turned 40 and I'm kind of like, whatever. Like it's over any day. So let's just tell. I just want to purge all of my feelings and thoughts and get it onto paper, and then sift through it. So it's like I'm bored to tears with my material, and I'm like excited to put it all on like an album or YouTube or whatever the hell, and then just start working on something next level deep.
Yeah. You don't put a lot of stuff on your social media.
I'm pretty awful at it. I'm really I just got yelled at by a
I'm gonna check it out right now.
An agent. I mean, you might as well fucking look at the picture of the desert. I don't do a lot.
It's all music.
It's all music. Yeah. Well, it's just because it's like I don't necessarily. So everyone's like, you got to take the clips and you got to go put. I think I did something today with I saw this weird Santa Claus, this like video, this like that sweater. Yeah, look at that guy. What a creepy fucking dude.
Yeah, I saw that on yours before. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I just thought that's Claude, the Santa, the Canadian Christmas vampire. I got to be better at it. And now hats off to Andrew Schultz and a bunch of other great guys that like put all their shit online and like the captions and the.
Yep.
I don't care. I genuinely don't care about social media, and I know I'm supposed to, but I just don't. And I can't pretend to. And I got yelled at by an agent the other day. She's like, you got to put more stuff online. And I'm like,
he yells at me.
Do you want to do it?
He yells at me too.
I fucking hate it, dude.
Same. He yells at me.
I don't like, why does this have to be part of it?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. It's funny. I mean, I don't yell at you. I just pass on a message. So we have this publicist who's awesome.
He yells at me. He's like, hey. He sends me a smiley face. And he's like, maybe you should make a video today.
I'm just passing on a message from our publicist who does this for a living, and she's social media obsessed, which is great.
Can you send me her info?
Sure. Yeah, she's great.
Right.
But she's going to bust your balls about social media.
Well, I just want to answer. I want her to just do it.
Yeah.
Well,
I just can't stand these people that are like, hey, look, this is my banana. Yeah. Like, what do you guys have? Any questions for my banana? It's like, no. How narcissistic.
Swipe left to see
guys,
me eat this sandwich.
I was walking down the street and I see this dead rat, and I'm like, what was that rat doing? What do you think that rat? Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. The video cut out, and I'm like, who fucking cares?
What's the deal with dead rats?
I can't take it, dude. I just cannot. Well, I've tried.
It is time consuming.
Clubs go send a video, make a video, and post it, and go, hi, it's Mike. I'm going to be at whatever, and it takes me 50 tries. I'm bad at it, and I don't care. I don't think that my face is that important, but I get it. It's the world we're in. I just want to be funny. I just want to tell jokes. That's all I care about. Legitimately, that's all. I want to talk to interesting people on my podcast. I want to help people however I possibly can, like whatever. And then I want to just write jokes and be funnier.
Yeah.
And if I'm home, the millisecond I get with my wife and my dog, I'm going to be like, hey guys, quick question. Like, you ever name your socks? No. I don't give a fuck.
Wife's like, we haven't seen you in 10 days. You want to hang out?
You know what I mean?
Like, you want
and
to
if
talk?
She's on the phone, I go, what is this with this bullshit with your phone? Like, who are you texting? But then I'm going to be like, hey, guys, what do you know? Did you ever name your balls? It's dumb. And you know what it is?
You ever take your dick out of your pants too early, go to the urinal?
Have you ever thought about if, like, social media content was a tangible thing? How much fucking garbage would be in the streets? Like if tweets were a thing, you could see, like if you ever thought about that,
no.
You think that turtles would be
that's funny.
Like just like every now and then you see a straw in a turtle's eye. You imagine how many tweets and fucking videos and I see people that like you see these fail videos on YouTube and it's just like some lady like dancing on her coffee table in the middle of the country and it's like everyone's doing these things and it's like why? What are you adding to the value of society? I'm happy you're happy.
There's just a lot
but
of
I don't want to
lonely-
do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I wish the internet would fail and we would have to go back to lanterns and, like ink and quill. No,
Well,
I'm
I'd be
kidding. I
fucked
just have
then.
to be better. I just have to get better at it. And
It's a
I've
necessary
had
thing.
conversations with comics about it, and they're like, you need to look at it from a different perspective. You need to look at it like it's advertising.
It's total advertising.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I just think I'm going to start making videos about how much I hate making videos.
That'd be
That
funny.
would be funny.
I just hate it.
You should just do that.
mean, some of my
You
friends
should just
are,
be you and just make fun of it and then just put it out there and that's you.
I think that's what I have to do.
That's just you.
I think I
you know what I
do.
mean?
Yeah,
Like Schultz
totally.
puts out all his shit. He's just being him.
Yeah,
He's
Schultz
not.
is amazing. Andrew's a
It
fucking
is. It is.
funny
I mean,
dude.
it definitely works. I don't particularly go look for that shit, but he sends me shit all the time. Other comics send me shit all the time of just other comedians doing like a funny bit or some funny shit, and it actually makes me like look deeper. So it totally works. It's just a fucking pain in the ass.
I think the thing that I ran into, and it definitely happened this summer, I did a little too much road this summer.
Right.
And I was alone a lot. And I did like a week in Vegas, a week in LA, out in Oregon and Denver and whatever, and time zones were all. And I just spent so much time on social media that I just took them all off my phone. Like I needed to separate myself from them.
Right.
And like where Twitter was on my phone, I put crossword puzzles. So like when my thumb went there, I still had
Smart.
something
That's
to,
smart.
I still had something to
To
do.
do, but
Right.
it wasn't
So like when
that
I'm
shit.
shitting, I'm like, oh, I'll just do a crossword puzzle instead of like, oh, let's see what everyone else is succeeding at, and I'm a
Right.
failure, and I'm a piece of shit, and whatever, and that's just you end up. That's what any chatter you have in your brain, social media makes it worse because you're just whether you're a teenage kid and you're looking at because no one and everyone's made this joke a million times. No one's putting honest life
No.
on social media. It's
Yeah.
all the best moments
It's
you've ever had.
It's highlight reel.
Yeah,
It's a highlight
exactly.
reel. I couldn't fucking imagine. I just got Facebook when I turned 8. Like I just got out of high school and Facebook was kind of getting big. I couldn't imagine being 13 and like 14 and having an Instagram and you like this girl, but she's just posted a photo with this guy at a party and then he liked it.
My
and
oldest son
and you're
doesn't
like,
use it.
Fuck.
He has no interest in Facebook or Instagram. Doesn't use it at all.
It's
16
awesome.
years old. No
Good.
interest.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's
No
amazing.
interest.
Now think about this: when we were in high school, right, and you got bullied, or there was a fight, you got into a beef with someone, and the weekend happened, or the bell rang, and you got to go home. You went home.
Yeah, it was done.
It was
That was it.
done. It was done. If you had to fix something, you maybe made a phone call to his mother's house and was like, can I speak to Pete? But now it's like they go on and it's like, ripping someone apart and cyberbullying and all that. Dude, if I was a kid and that was I would have been chain smoking at 9 years old.
It's too much.
You know what I
man.
mean?
It's
yeah, that's
too
why they're all
much.
vaping. It's fucking
It's
insane.
probably.
My
You're
buddy,
probably right.
My buddy's little sister just turned 20, and I remember like even years ago when she was younger, like 13, 14, 15, would be at her house. She'd put her phone down for 10 minutes, pick it back up. She got 40 Snapchats. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you even... She's just going through them, and it's all her friends like this, taken like this close to their face.
I just don't
What
get
the
it.
fuck? Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know
care.
either. And she's like, we got to keep the streak going. I'm like, streak of what? You're under a blanket. You have your eyes showing.
Yeah, I really
Stupid.
I gotta get. It sucks, but you know what? Luckily, I've video recorded like every show I think I've ever done. So what I need to do is just like give it to someone.
Yeah.
And just be like, can you
Cut
make those dumb
clips.
videos for me with the words on the bottom? And just like, because I don't even know how to begin to do any of that, and I don't want to know how to begin to do any of that because the
Right.
minute I learn it, then that's going to be obsolete. And then it's going to be like, oh, you got to retina scan your fucking thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now
I
you got to
can't-
use it. Now you got to use a puppet.
I just learned how to do
see,
it,
now
so I
if
hope
it
to
was
fucking God it's not
social media
obsolete
was a
soon.
puppet. If there was puppets involved,
You should start using puppets.
I
on
know a
social
guy.
media.
$5 per puppet per song.
are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Dude,
That
Mike's
video
pumped.
was. I forget what I tell you. $10,
$5
15?
per puppet.
Fiverr's fucking
Yes.
crazy, dude.
I paid $15 for that puppet video with the song.
So explain to me what Fiverr is. Are they one of your sponsors? Because
No, but they
Nope.
should be because I talk about it enough.
I know. Shit.
$5. This is like people do jobs for $5.
I mean, that's how it
Yeah.
started. It was
Hand
it's
jobs.
F5 with 2 R's. No, 1 R. 5R. Fiverr.com. Fiverr. Fiver.
All right, I've never heard of it.
And it started out mostly as like graphics. So people would go on and be like, I'll create you a logo for $5. And now it's fucking everything. You could find a publicist. You could find someone to write a screenplay. You know, anything, promotion, anything you want.
Do graphics, right?
Yeah, it's not all $5. But I went online.
Puppet guy.
I'm not kidding. $15. I went online and I was like, I want an intro. So I typed in, write me an intro. And all these different people came up with intros, you know, music, whatever. And one was a puppet. And I'm like, I'm going to make a puppet video.
I mean,
isn't that wild, dude? When he sent me that shit, I go, whoa,
so
how did you do
So
this?
if I go like this, if I go, hey, here's a minute clip
Right.
of my stand-up, I want you to make a puppet at a comedy club doing that set to like that, but like whatever their head moves. I send them a picture of me. I go make the puppet look like me.
I don't know if they could make the puppet look like you.
I mean, I look like a puppet before you decorate a puppet. I have no characteristics. Skip the middle tooth and just don't give it hair, and you made me. Right? I'm a
easiest
pretty easy puppet.
I will send the dude a
I am
note.
an easy puppet.
I'll send the dude a
See
note
if
with
my
your
hand
picture. And be like,
fits.
can you got a puppet that looks like this guy?
Yeah.
Close. Can you make one?
We have a Mr. Clean doll. Does that work?
Perfect. Oh, dude, I got headshots done, and one of them looks exactly like Mr. Clean.
Were you in all white in a kitchen?
No,
like,
it's a
here we
Grateful Dead
go.
shirt, but I do look just like I'm like arms
Do you
crossed.
really have all your concert shirts going? How far back?
I have a bin that has a piece of tape on it that says "one day,"
Right. ...
because they're too small. And I mean, there's some 96, 97, but some of them I wore to there's holes in them.
Yeah.
A couple of my buddies' wives made my buddies for gifts like
Blankets.
like a tap, yeah, like a
Tapestry.
quilt.
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
of the
super
shirts?
cool.
Yeah, that's
which is really
awesome.
neat. I'm not. It's weird. I've got a lot of like cool shit, but a lot of stuff I lost.
Yeah, me too. I had. I mean, when I was in high school, I went to. I mean, you saw that book. I went to concerts every week. Every weekend, I was going to see something. It could have been any. I didn't give a shit what it was. I would go see Pat Benatar, and then I'd go see Slayer the next week. I didn't care.
Killer, man.
I went.
So cool.
I went to anything.
I wish I did
And
that.
How'd you guys end up getting linked up? Because this is an interesting.
Greg was my client at Equinox, where I work down the street. I'm a personal trainer at Equinox.
Okay.
And then we were talking one day, and he was asking about comedy, and I was like, "Yeah, I do like open mics and do comedy." He goes, "No, you don't." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And then he was like, "All right, well, I'm coming." And I was like, "You're not gonna come. Shut up." And he showed up at one of the open mics at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
And I did. He saw my 5 minute or 3 minute, whatever the hell you get, set. And then I got off stage and he just goes, "Fuck." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "You're kind of good and I hate it." And I was like, "Fuck you,
How
man."
adorable.
And I was like, and he's like, "You want to start an open mic?" I was like, "No, you're an idiot. Why would we do any of this?" And he's like, "Come on, we can start doing shows." I was like, "I suck, dude. I've been doing this for that point. I was like, I'm doing this for 6 months. Like, I don't fucking know what's going on." He's like, "It'll be fine. We can do it." And I was like, no. And then he forced me pretty much
And
to
it's
do it.
at it's in
Yeah. So we started doing it at the Sea Grape
Yep.
in Fairfield in June, and we started this in July, and this kind of took off.
Yeah.
Like mainly, we just got lucky with a couple great guests.
Jay
and-
Blakesberg, dude.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I love Jay.
He was fucking
I had him
awesome.
on my old
That
show.
was
He's
yeah,
the shit.
He
He's
is
a great
awesome.
guy.
He's
I just sat
amazing.
here in silence the whole time.
We
so
had
I was listening to him talk.
Greg Ormont from Pigeons playing ping pong on a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago. You know,
nice.
he's fucking great. So we just started this, and all of a sudden, everything fucking took off. Like our comedy shows started doing awesome. We started doing shows around town, like not here in Fairfield, all around. And then we took over that club in South Norwalk that you're doing the shows at.
I'm excited.
And
It's a cool club,
I mean,
man.
it's like blowing up. We can't even
I can't
figure
wait.
it out.
It's gonna be a fun.
Yeah, fun weekend.
I literally, we were sitting here the other day when I was about to do FTC, and we were sitting here, and I looked at Greg, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, what is going on? Like, how is this happening?" Like in
Because
June,
you're getting like good like
Yeah,
follows.
well,
and
we're getting good
listens
follows, good
and-
guests. We're getting booking people like you at the back. Like I'm a year. This time a year ago, I did 3 open mics. And I was like, and I was dating this girl, and I was like, but this isn't really. I should focus on work. And then as soon as we broke up in April, I was like, okay.
Yeah, dude. That's what you
fucking
gotta
went
do.
up like 4 or 5 times a week. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
now's the time.
We just passed 10,000 downloads the other day.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
So it's pretty fucking crazy.
It's awesome.
It's been awesome, man. It just feels.
And what do you attest that to? Social media?
Fiverr, puppets.
Puppet videos?
I believe it's puppets.
He's great with social media and what he does for work
I'm
outside
pretty
of
good
here.
on
He knows
social and publicity and stuff. And then we hired this publicist, and she's gotten us some good articles and
You need that stuff.
guests like you. You know, we have guys like you on. People come
It's an
on,
honor.
they want to see
I like
it.
it in here.
You know,
I could sit in here and talk to you guys for
I love that
hours.
you're a CT guy. That's dope.
we had a porn star on who kind of blew us up quickly. Danny Daniels.
Okay.
So I didn't know who she was either, but apparently she's like the world's most popular girl.
She's very popular and cool as shit.
Yeah,
Her and
very
her husband
awesome.
Vic. Holy
Vic.
shit.
Yeah, dude, it's cool because you've got this spot here. If I were you guys, I would utilize the fact that you're at a train station and you're next to a very awesome room.
Yeah.
That you should utilize all of this for your guests.
Yeah,
You know
we
what
are.
I mean?
We are.
We might,
Yeah.
we're trying to go across the street, and they have like soundproof rooms in there and like through studio. Like I think kids are getting taught like music lessons in there. It's all new. I just saw it the other day. It was like really cool.
We may do some stuff at Stand Up New York
Good.
in the beginning, starting next year at some point.
Good. Well, you guys are
see.
fucking cool, and I'll come back anytime if you'll
Yeah,
have
man.
me.
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean, we're
Of course.
I mean, I just love. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's fun to talk to. I mean, this is a quick. I feel like we just
Hour
started.
15.
Yeah,
I could go on for 3 more hours.
I
man,
really
just about
could too.
music.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean,
could
we
do that
could if you
over
want
something
but
else. We could do next time. We'll do it over chicken wings and whatever your
Just go to FTC.
Fluid.
Let's just start an FTC show. Well, we have the Mangina dialogues. February 18th. You should come, dude.
February 18th.
Yeah, we're trying to
do my
make it like
best.
we got a band. We'll talk about this after. We'll talk
Yeah,
about this after.
well, thank you.
Anyway,
All right,
dude, thanks so
this is
much for being
phenomenal.
on.
Absolutely.
We're gonna wrap up. Greg, play us out with that dope ass song.